All right, everybody, welcome back to another dev stream. My name is Kevin. We are making an indie game, and you all, Patreon, are making it all possible. So, huge shout out to you all. Thanks for being part of this. I love the questions. I love the support. It's awesome to be able to have conversations and kick ideas around and stuff like that. And if you're watching this after the fact later, just as part of the channel, thanks for checking out the channel and watching the video. Today we are going to, I have been in packaging just hell lately, just trying to get the game ready for the first playtest. But today we're going to do something hopefully a little more fun, and we're going to try to implement a melee attack. So we built a slash, and now we want to try to make that melee attack do damage. Now, I haven't done anything fun or gameplay related in a while, so this could be rough. So we'll see what we get to. Let's see here. Let me just pop out this chat. We got in the chat, we got Naroda and Rusty. As usual, this is an open conversation. Happy to have everybody comment. Just know that we are, this stuff is recorded. You are being recorded. If you don't want to be seen or heard, you're welcome to hang out and just listen. All right, so other project updates while we're waiting for the client to show up. We have art off and running. We've got our first couple of creatures and stuff back. I'm actually super excited to show those to you all in an upcoming devlog, actually. We do have audio.
Was the art you got through some people you knew already, or did you find them online? Or
I hired them. Scary stuff, man. So like super
where did
scary.
you find them?
So I put a posting on ArtStation, and it was basically a job posting. I basically said, hey, I'm working an indie game. I'm looking for some freelance concept artists. This is I put a sample of the character. This is the style we're going for, and then I have spent countless hours going through reels and portfolios. I've tried to respond to every single person who applied because it's really cool of them to apply. I've probably gone through, I literally hundreds and hundreds, and I lost like multiple days. Didn't lose, I gained multiple days, but it was days that I had not accounted for in the schedule, reviewing all the portfolios and reels and stuff. But anyways, that's how I found them. So,
Gotcha.
Oh, am I not? Yeah, I'm sharing my screen. Okay, cool. So we've got, here's what we need to do, since we've only got so much time. As usual, by the way, if we get a system freeze or a crash, I will be right back. The stream will pick back up, so don't stress if that happens. I've unfortunately gotten used to it at this point. Let's get our first play out of the way. Load some textures. Here we go. Have you guys seen all the WASD move, space jumps, hold space stuff I put in?
I'm just discovering them now.
Yeah, so one of the things I did maybe since the last time you saw was I trying to make the tutorial clear. WASD to move, space to jump, hold space for long jump, so that like this is all part of the tutorialization. Jump up through platforms. S plus space down jump through platforms. Then jump, then W to start a climb. Right? Just basically trying to teach people how to do this stuff. Jump plus W in the air to auto grab a wall on impact. So we got some Ninja Game type stuff here. Shift is equal to dash. Dash at yellow wall to smash. Hopefully that's clear. While in the air, so S and plus jump space. So that one's kind of confusing. We may have to revisit the word on that one. Oh, I should probably put what this is. This is a pickup. So max jumps plus plus. Double jump repeats the first jump. Platform warns before vanish, thanks to Rusty.
Nice.
There we go. Anyways, so that's that. I think that's ready to go. So let's do a melee attack. Now, the way that our stuff works in this game is we are using the ability system. And we're going to create a new attack. I am trying to decide. I'm going to create a folder for this for right now. New folder, melee. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to call this. I'm going to go stasis attack. Reason this isn't the right name. We'll just go melee. We don't need to go that crazy. Okay, cool. And then let's take maybe something from our Inferno attack. Let's copy this, our attack base, and then we'll just go through it. Okay, fine. We'll just drag and drop it there. Copy here. Okay, so this is going to be gameplay ability, melee attack base. So, I believe you both know what the gameplay ability system is, but for anybody else, it is a crazy, replication-friendly way of creating abilities that can be granted and taken away, and etc. to players and enemies, etc. that give your character the ability to do different things. So in this case, we're going to give ourselves a gameplay ability called melee attack. And if we open this up, there's going to be a lot of stuff we don't need in here. Oh, interesting. This inherits from weapon attack base. This may not be what we want to do. Hold on. So let's go look at weapon attack base here. And weapon attack base just inherits from melee. I think we may want to change this. So let's do this. Let's reparent this. We're going to reparent this blueprint. Reparent this blueprint to the, I believe it's the Lyra ability. Wait, where did that go? Ability? Gameplay ability, this is the one I want. Lyra gameplay ability, there we go. So we're going to reparent this, it's probably going to freak out. Open the full blueprint editor. I do want to double check, did I actually pick the right one there? Weapon attack base. Yeah, gameplay ability, okay, cool. And I'm going to keep this up as a reference. Okay, so in here, let's start simple, like I like to do. Let's get a good old-fashioned print string going. So I'll increase the size here too. Let's Control Shift. I haven't done that in a while. Control Shift W. 1.1. Text. This should be a little bit easier to read. Okay, so the idea here is when the player presses the button is going to activate the ability as long as the player has the ability in their ability set, and if they do, it'll do a thing. So for us, in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to activate this ability, and we're going to print this string. Okay? And this is going to be lightning bolt. No, it's going to be melee. Okay, so now we need to grant ourselves that ability, and there's a couple of different ways we could do that. We could go through the whole item system and everything like that, but that would take forever. We just want to do melee attacks. So if we go to our data asset for this, I think it's one. Oh no, I need the hero. Let's see here. These are widgets. These are component. Yeah, this isn't what I want. I want. There's a data asset that grants us all of our stuff, and it's in our ability set for our old project name, which is great. And inside here, we have granted gameplay abilities. Now, right now, if we look, we have things like jump, spawn, like even spawning is an ability, dashing, etc. We have our slam down. We are going to add one more here, and this one is going to be melee. Gameplay ability, melee attack base. Okay? Now, do I need the input tag here? No, I don't believe I do. Okay, well, not for the purpose of what we're trying to get done. All right, so let's save that. Check that out. And then now that we have that, if we go to our inputs under mappings for keyboard mouse in this case, if we take a look at our mappings, we have this IA primary attack, which is our left mouse button. Our left mouse button calls IA primary attack. IA primary attack. Ooh, we have power attacks too. This is okay. This is gonna be interesting. Okay, so this has a it's just triggered on press. There's nothing crazy here. That's great. So that must mean that the way we're set up right now is that our character has a primary attack. Where is that? Game. Here's our hero pawn. Let's see if we have an input action for primary attack. Debug report. Complete. I don't see that there. Grab. Buffered. Jump. Cycle target. Climb. Health. Move. I do not see primary attack here. IA primary. Not in here. What does that mean? That means that it might be in our paper character, which it's not. I don't believe. Okay, so that must mean we're using tags. Okay, so if we're using tags, then we need to find the triggers. That's there. Left mouse button. It triggers from the input action. So if it triggers from the input action, okay, so then in our gameplay ability for, let's go back here. Let's go to, hold on y'all, I gotta find this real quick. Inferno attack base. This is ability type action primary attack. Okay, so it's here. This is the tag. Interesting. So if we search for references on this, we can see this in weapon attack base. So let's edit that guy. Weapon attack base, you'll see that the asset tags are here, and over here there's an ability trigger. The ability trigger is input tag ability primary attack. I still don't see where that tag's getting applied though. Can we search on that? Search for references. Oh, it's applied in the ability set. Interesting. I would not have pegged that. Okay, so there's one more data asset. This is the problem with the data asset setup, right? There's like so many nested things you gotta find. Okay, so in our abilities, for each of our abilities, we have this abilities set. Okay, and the ability set actually has in it a granted ability. And the reason this is, okay, now I understand. So what happens is this is granted by an item. The item grants the ability set has the input tag is this an input tag ability primary attack. That's that's what's happening there. So how do we do this with our melee attack base? I think we just specify it over here in our ability triggers. So let's just put this in here, and we're going to insert the tag. I believe this might be under my head. Okay, so down here at the bottom of our details, we've got our tag trigger, input, not input, input, and input tag, ability. Eventually I'm going to change this to melee, but for right now I'm going to go with primary attack because I know it's all already connected theoretically. Okay, so now that we have that done, what we should be able to do is grant ourselves this ability and at least see a print string. Okay, so because this is already granted as part of our base ability for testing, theoretically, if we got it set up right, when we press the button, we should see melee, but we don't. So let's try putting the input tag here. Ability, primary attack, save. There it is. Okay. Woo. Okay, so if we press the button, oh wait. Oh, hold on a second. I have an idea. Okay, two things are happening. First, I don't know if you saw it. It did print melee, which is great. So we're closer. However, we're not ending this ability. And the reason we need to end the ability, because if we don't, what happens is it comes in here, it prints the melee, but then it still thinks melee is active. So it's just still doing melee, whatever it's doing. And so we can't trigger it again because we can't multi-trigger melee attacks. So by ending it, now when we press play, if I press the button, then I press the button again, now you can see I'm seeing melee printing in the top left a bunch of times. Okay, great. Okay, so now we have we have a couple tasks that we have to do. We need to figure out how we are going to do the work in here, in our melee attack. And there's a couple things that are worth talking about here. So for this game, we don't really have the idea of a true weapon. Like there isn't a sword that's going to overlap with the enemy, or a spear or a bullet or anything like that. So a lot of times, you know, at this point you would do like, sorry, I was just checking to make sure that we hadn't frozen. A lot of times you'll do something like check overlap to see if something's happening. So we don't have that. So what we have to do is we have to decide in this 2D platformer world, what are we going to do to determine whether or not we're doing damage to the enemy in front of us? And there are many different options. We could give ourselves a legit weapon, and we could, with that weapon, we could, you know, swing it and do all that stuff. We're not going to do that one. The second option is we could do a trace. We could do just a simple trace in front of our character. If it hits an enemy, it would apply damage. Another one we could do is do a box like overlap. We could flash up like a hit box, which would be like, think of it as like, at the time I go to punch, a cube temporarily shows up in front of the character that you can't see, but the game can see, and it checks against that cube to see if that cube overlaps any enemies, and if it does, it just damages them all, as an example. You could do all of these different things. So in here, I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna do a print string, do damage to targets. Okay, because we're not gonna actually do that right now, because I think it'll be more fun if we can get the visuals to show up. So we're gonna do damage to targets. All right, and then effectively what we would do is we would say, okay, what do the visuals look like for this? So for this one, what we're going to do is, again, there are a couple different ways to do this. We could simply spawn a VFX in here as part of this, where what we do is let's do a spawn system. Let's just see if we can do this real quick. Spawn system at location, and we need the instigator, I believe it is. Get instigator actor. Get their location, and then we're going to spawn a slash. Okay. Let's just see if that spawns anything. Okay, if it is spawning a slash, it's maybe putting it in the wrong place. So let's see if we can. Do we see a system showing up in our hazards, objectives? I don't see. Oh, here we go. Oh, those are projectiles from the hazards. Okay. So I don't see one showing up. So let's do this. Let's draw a debug sphere, and I'm thinking that this might be invalid. The instigator might be invalid. Yeah. Okay, so it is drawing a actually wait, we didn't give it a time. Let's do a duration of 10, thickness of 1. And we'll go ahead and press play. Okay, so wherever this thing is, it is not where I think it is. Okay, let's spawn a bunch of them and go 8. Well, I don't know where this thing's spawning. It doesn't look like it's spawning anywhere, actually. So let's do a couple things. One of the reasons I kept this around was because I wanted to see how we were getting references to the actors. I see. We're getting a controller from the actor info here. Then we're getting the controlled pawn. Then we're setting that. Okay, let's try it that way. Maybe that's just not a good thing. So let's get the controller here. Get the controller. From actor info, and then from that, can we get actor location? We can. Control drag to not have to redo all that work. Compile and save and go. I don't see the sphere there either. Okay, so let's get the controlled pawn. Get the controlled pawn, and let's get that location. Try it that way. Compile and save. Press play. Oh, did you see it? Oh, I saw it. You may not have seen it because okay. Compile and save. Press play. All right, let's go big. Oh no. Do not crash. See that?
Yep.
Look at that.
Yep.
Zippity zippity. Okay. So obviously, oh, interesting. It doesn't. Oh, I guess that particle never dies. That's probably not good. Whoops. Mistakes were made. Okay, so let's just save all just in case, because that crash scared me a little bit. Okay, so we know that we can get the particle to show up now. We know we have the right location. We have all those things. But right now we're doing this inside of the gameplay ability. We may not want to do this inside the gameplay ability. So in the gameplay ability system, a lot of times we don't do this like this. What we do is I can show you. Let me think of a good one to show you. If we go to our gameplay effects. No, that's not what I wanted. Cues. I'm looking for where we put our gameplay cue notifies. Hold on one second. So there's another piece to the gameplay ability system. There's lots of pieces of the gameplay ability system. There's the abilities, then there's gameplay effects, then there's game queue notifies, and all these kinds of things. So one of the ones there is there's gameplay queue notifies and game queue notify latents, and these are things that you can use to show the visuals so that there's a separation between the visuals and the abilities themselves. Reason being is maybe you want to change the visuals, etc. You can use the gameplay cues instead. So if we search for this, here's a gameplay cue for the impact. So this is a gameplay cue notify for the impact. If we look at this, it really is very simple. It's almost the exact same thing that we've done before, right? Where it's just actor location, spawn the system. But the way this is triggered is different. This is triggered using tags. So if we go back to our melee attack, okay, and we go to our class defaults, this is built into the gameplay ability system. When this happens, what you can do is you can add in all these other things, right? There's activation policies, there's all these tags. One of the things that we can do is we can do, where is it? Usually there's a thing here for, hold on. Oh, the gameplay cue is on the gameplay effect. Interesting. So the gameplay effect, no, that can't be right. Hold on a second. This impact is being used by maybe I picked the bad one. This one is, so this, I know that electrocuted is applied by the gameplay effect, but I thought, so if I, let's see, here's a gameplay effect. If I show you in the gameplay effect components, that's not the gameplay effect I want. Let's go with this one. Oh my goodness. Edit. I'm looking for this string here. Search for references. Here we go. This is going to be, this one is applied with this gameplay effect. Here we go. So in this gameplay effect, what happens when you get electrocuted, you can see in here, gameplay cues at the bottom. That's where it is. So you can add a gameplay cue, and this is what causes the character to get electrocuted. This is part of the gameplay effect that's applied. I thought we could do the same thing with the melees, but I do not see that. So we gotta think. I don't know if we want to do this with, we could apply a gameplay effect, which would be like the slash, but I just don't know if do we need all that? Hold on. Duration. I'm just trying to think if we need all this stuff. When we do a melee attack, are we going to need to potentially add tags, set various states? Let me give you an example, because these are going to be combo attacks. Okay, so when you attack, when you do that, there's going to be, you're going to get a gameplay effect on you for hot reloads effectively. If you've ever played Gears of War or anything like that, there's going to be a window. There's going to be an attack window where if you hit that window, you get a critical strike, for example, or a faster reload or a stronger attack. Any number of which ways from Sunday. There's going to be windows that you're going to, use in order to apply power. those would be great examples of when you would apply a gameplay effect. And you could just say, does the character have power available gameplay effect? If so, if you press the attack button again, then you get crit, or then you get more power, or whatever. That's one way you could do it. Another way you could do it is you could just see if you could apply the tag, like maybe it's just at the end. Anyway, so that would be a reason why you would maybe want to do it as a gameplay effect. I'm trying to decide. I don't know if I want to do this as a gameplay effect, you all. So if that's the case,
How are you gonna apply like damage and status effects?
Well, but the damage is applied to the target. The damage is not, like, if I melee attack, like, that all works. Like, if I melee attack, when I hit an enemy, the enemy gets hit, that is applied with a gameplay effect, right? So the gameplay effect goes on the enemy. But the actual, like, visual for the attack is on the player. So in that case, there may or may not be a need for a gameplay effect in that case, other than to show visuals. So okay, maybe that's a good reason for it. So if we wanted to do that, what we could do here is let's create a quick gameplay effect. This is going to be melee visuals, melee swipe. I'm going to call this swipe. Let's just do that real quick. Okay, this gameplay effect is a melee swipe. With this melee swipe, we're going to put a new cue on here. We're going to have to define it here in a second. We don't need any modifiers because this is movement and all that stuff. So we don't need any modifiers. We don't need any tags. We basically need this to be clean. We can have a duration. The cool thing about having a duration is, okay, there is one cool thing about this. If we do this with a duration, the gameplay effect should clean up any gameplay cue notifies that are created, and it would theoretically clean up our Niagara systems for us. So, okay, nobody's in there. Okay, cool. But we definitely need to change this. So we have gameplay cue death. Let's just add one. We're gonna add melee attack. And then we'll do that one. We're not going to do electrocute. Okay, cool. So that's our gameplay cue melee attack. Compile and save. Then we need our gameplay cue notify latent. Let's duplicate this. And we're going to call this our gameplay cue notify melee attack. And then in here, well, that's interesting. Oh, we need the on burst. Hold on. On burst. Okay, and instead, we don't need all of this stuff. Where am I? Oh, that's wild. I didn't think. Okay, I'm not going to worry about the templates. Oh, I got really fancy in this one. Yeah, we're not going to worry about that. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. I hope I'm in the right one. Yes, melee attack. I'm not going to set any variables for right now. Let's just do this. Let's just get this thing to show back up again. Okay, let's get location. We'll feed that into location. And then we're going to spawn r/, and we'll return. This is going to be our slash. Okay, so compile that, save that. Then we need to make sure our class defaults are set, and we need to make sure that our tag matches our melee attack tag, which it does. Compile and save. And then this is our gameplay ability melee attack base. I am going to just delete this so we know this is clean. Compile and save. Class defaults. This calls the input primary attack. That's cooldowns. Hold on, I just spaced on what we were doing. Gameplay. We need to apply this gameplay effect if we're going to do this with a gameplay effect. So let's get the ability system component from actor info, and then let's do gameplay effect. Apply gameplay effect to the target. Let's do it to self. Okay. And we have to create a spec handle, I believe.
You can do it by class if you prefer, but I don't think it matters.
Hold on, I'm processing what you're saying. You
Instead
mean,
of applying an effect spec, you can just apply an effect and you choose the effect class.
oh, I like that way better. Apply effect. Yes, to self.
Yeah, that one.
Thank God. I was like, well, I don't wanna, thank you. I'm like, I don't want to make a spec handle. Okay, and the class we're applying is going to be our melee swipe. I'm going to go with level 1 for right now. And do I need to make one of these? I think that might work. I may have to check to see if that works. Okay, so we're doing damage to targets. I don't know if we're hitting our... I don't know if we're hitting if this on burst. And one of the reasons I'm wondering about that is this is our melee attack for our gameplay Q tags. And our gameplay class defaults is set to melee attack. Our burst effects, we don't need sounds. Interestingly enough, we could use this. We could spawn it here, or we could just choose the particles. But let's see if we're even hitting this breakpoint. We are not. So we're not triggering this thing properly. If we go back to our melee attack base, and it is probably the way we're applying this gameplay effect. So the easiest way for me to figure this out is to find a version of it that I have that works. And that is going to be with the electrocute. So if we find references to that, for some reason it's not searching. Here we go. That is used by the gauntlet and hazard pause. The gauntlet, apply gameplay effect to self, and the thing it's putting it on is the ability system component. Okay, so maybe my ability system component is bogus. Is this bogus? Let's check. No, it's a Lyra ability system component. Okay, maybe our effect context is bogus. Oh, we don't need one? Okay, it's not usable. Let's go again. We are not bursting. So we've got something set up in our tags wrong. Here's our melee swipe. Our melee swipe has a game queue tag. I don't think I need that. We shouldn't need modifiers. What's our duration on this thing? Has duration, duration magnitude. This is where the ability system gets fun. Okay, so theoretically, our gameplay, we know we're hitting our gameplay ability. We know our ability system is valid. Interestingly enough, the other version that we have is using the ability system, the plain ability system. Okay, let's try that. Let's get an actor info. Get ability system component from actor info. Let's try that one. And let's put a breakpoint here. I want to know if it's valid when we get there. Okay. Yep, it is. Why don't we see it, y'all? Not only do we not see it, we're also not even getting our burst.
Can you do the stat? What is it?
Oh yeah, ability system stat thing.
Yeah, do that and then see if you're getting the Q tag.
Stat. No, it's ability.
It's not stat yet. Enable GDT. Says it right?
Well, it's ability system debug. Ability system debug category. Except I don't see it showing anything right now. Interesting.
Do enable GDT with no other arguments.
Enable GDT.
That's the one. And then you have to toggle.
Yeah, it's
if you hit numpad 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, it turns off all the stuff you don't want and turns on the one you do. With my magic button press. Oh no.
No. It crashed. It's dead. Okay, I'm blaming the road on that one.
Fair enough.
Wasn't me. Wasn't me. Alright, here we go again. Round 2. We know we can get the slash to show up. I know my other abilities work. There's just gotta be a tag or something missing. I'm used to being able to see a whole list of all the G's and everything applied, though. For some reason, the fact that we don't is wild. This also always happens to me when I use the gameplay ability system. If I haven't used it in a while, it takes me a minute to figure out how to get basic stuff going, and then I remember, and then I can start making progress again. Okay. Come on, little buddy. You got this. Alright. Alright, we have our do damage to targets. That's cool. Alright, now let's not enable GDT. This time, let's do ability system debug 1. Show debug ability system. There we go. That's what I wanted. Okay. Gameplay cues. Everything gameplay cue melee attack 1. Oh, look at that. You see it flashing there. There's the tag.
The Q tag?
Like state plane tip, and then this is own tag. So there's a tag there, gameplay. You can kind of see it showing up. I wish I could point at the screen. It's the one that pops up in the white after.
I see that one, but shouldn't you be getting a Q tag also? Isn't the Q applied as a tag? I could be wrong. Maybe
wait,
it isn't.
Hold on, let me see. Let's go back to our gameplay abilities. Melee. This gameplay ability. Not 0. That would be very small. Okay. So we are applying a gameplay effect. What I want. So we are applying a gameplay effect. But is that where the tag coming from? I think so. Because we're not applying the tag here. So the tag has to be coming from this melee swipe. And the melee swipe tag is gameplay key melee attack.
Okay, yeah.
Right? And we have a duration, magnitude. We have a stacking type we're not worried about. Require modifier success. I want to uncheck that box. Okay. And then what's going to happen is this is going to let's redock these so we can see what's happening. This is going to do our gameplay queue notify on burst. Okay, maybe we're not on bursting. I want to make sure that I want to see something. Okay, we're definitely not hitting that thing because the camera would be shaking like crazy. So what about this? I don't think I should have to do any of this magnitude attributes.
You should not. I'm only using one Q and I'm looking at it right now. I wonder if if you need a duration component tag.
I have has duration.
Well, not just has duration, but
oh, there we go. What the world? I switched it to instant and it worked. What? Why is that? Duration. Instant. This effect applies instantly. Infinite and has duration. The duration of this effect will be specified by a magnitude.
Yeah, you in the gameplay effect components, it's down like 4 categories from where you are. There's that components array.
Oh, I don't have a duration there, so it's not doing it.
There, grant tags to target actor and then do whatever melee.
Okay,
duration.
But we don't need that. We can go instant. Oh my god.
Yeah.
What a scavenger hunt this system is. It's crazy. Okay, so we're going to save that. That's working now. Thank you very much. That is cool. Okay, so compile and save this. And then now our effect should show up. Oh. That's kind of crazy. The camera shake might be a bit much. So let's go ahead and take off our test camera shake. Okay, save and play. Okay, now the only thing is it's not cleaning up the visual effect, which is interesting. So there's a couple things for this. We burst, we spawn the system. I thought we do have auto destroy on. Maybe we have a bogus lifetime on this melee slash. Let's take a look at this. Our system loop duration, loop behavior once. And I think we only need this to be. Okay, that should do it. Check out that. Oh, we may actually be there, you all. Nope. What? Clearly this is set to compile, save. Let's play that again. What? I'm not pressing the button again. This effect just stays there. It's just going to be there forever now. So the fact that that is not cleaning up itself is very confusing to me, because we should allow it to complete kill system emitters, die immediately. Let's try that. Because our emitters are definitely surviving right now. Okay, that worked. Okay, now we do need to do a couple things. Let's randomize the rotation of this thing. So let's see if we can do this. Let's, inside of our, here, let's just try, let's see, X is which way in this map? Down the axis. So let's rotate 45 on X and see if we get a better view of this swipe.
Why do you want to randomize it instead of just reversing it, so like you have back and forth, which would allow you to have combos further down the line?
What I want is I want to see this thing take into, so okay, what I want is, okay, so fast forward, I'm a designer and I'm building a new melee combo ability. Okay, and I want to be able to do a vertical slash down. Okay, just one. How do I give the designer the control to do that without having to go into and edit the VFX Niagara system? So what I want to do is I want to take that, I want to be able to give the designer the control to rotate that thing so that they can align it to do a downward slash or side slash. So in an attack combo, maybe what I want is I want a 45 and then back the other way straight across and then a final slam down, for example. 3 different rotations on the same thing. So when I say random, the reason I'm saying random right now is I just want to be able to change it without having to go into the Niagara system. But
gotcha.
right now, when I'm adding rotations to this system, it's not taking it into effect. So we're getting there from the standpoint of we've got a system spawning, we've got a melee attack happening, but there is nothing that I click that is causing this thing to rotate right now. So what that means is either this rotation does not matter because it's not being used, or the system has been authored in a way where all of these slashes take into account nothing to do with world space. So that's what I'm trying to look for right now. Rotation orients to vector. Interesting. I'm wondering. Yeah, I think we probably want to orient this to the system. Okay, here's what I think we need to do. Let's go back to our slash edge. Okay, I think this is always going to author vertical up because our orientation is to this vector. And then it's not taking into account the system. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to remember this value of -100. And then I'm going to multiply No, I did not mean to do that, but oh no. Okay, so let's multiply by vector. We're going to use -1 here, and 0, 0, 0, 0. Now my question is, can we change this to the system? No. Okay, so let's just say that that works. So now we have a channel that we can use to change this. If we go back to our system, if we can check this out. You know what? Let's not do this. Let's just do oriented system. Let's just try this first. Okay? And apply and compile and save. And when we go back to our system, I don't remember there being a second tail here, but we'll figure that out in a second. The question is now, in our attack, if I change the rotation on any axis, do I get a change? Let's do 2 axes. Yes. Okay. So what's happening is now I've got like this slash, which is cool. Not nearly big enough, not nearly cool enough, but at least we can change it just right here. So I could mess with this to get the offset that I wanted. Now we've got a different problem here where we're gonna have to do some work to figure out in this edge when we go to orient to vector, compile, apply and compile and save. And we go back to the system now. See how the system has this nice, pretty single slash to it. If we look at our orientation to vector, we have 2 vectors here. So let's get our system. Is there a normal velocity? Okay, so that's not it. Let's check our user parameters. I'm surprised there's no system rotation. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add a new user parameter. This is going to be a vector. And this is going to be, what do we call this? Rotation offset? Vector, yeah, like let's do orientation offset. I don't know if that wording works right, but for now we'll just go 1. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take that and we're going to plug this in to here. Okay. This is our initial mesh orientation. So we're going to have to do this for each one. Third one, the smear. Initial mesh orientation. Oh, our smear is a different effect. We need to edit our smear real quick. So in our initial mesh orientation, we need to multiply this by a vector. And we're going to go -1 here. -1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. Compile, apply, and save. And then go back to our system. Yes, we can check that out. Go back to our system. And we should have our slot now. We should be able to fill this in. Compile and save. Okay, so now the difference is now what we need to do is we need to set vector variable. This is going to be called user dot, what did we call it? Orientation offset. User dot orientation offset. This may not be the best way to do this because this could make trying to figure out what the vector is supposed to be, but let's just see if we can get it to change. Let's go 1, 1. Actually, let's just go 1, 0, 1 just to see if it even shows up correctly. So compile and save, play this. Okay, so we have it. That's cool. Now let's try to offset it. So if we go 1, 1, compile, play. So either that is not affecting it. Orientation offset. Did I spell that right? Orientation offset. That is not affecting our system. So if we change this out of curiosity, does this actually change anything? Oh, look at that. It doesn't change anything. We're the best. That's kind of confusing to me, I'm not going to lie. If I change this to 1, well, that doesn't change it either. Hold on a second. Who thought of this plan? So if I go 0, okay, this is not doing what we thought it was. So let's do this. Let's change this. We're going to go back to, let's go back to just -1 here. We're going to change our rotation. We're just going to change it right here. So if I go 45, what in the world? Okay, so we're orienting to the system. Orienting to the vector. That's the mesh axis, that's fine. And the rotation, coordinate system, let's go simulation. If I go 45 on this now. Okay, there we go. Oh, is it because it's a, it's not 0 based, it's 1 based? Oh, I see. It's a vector. It's not a, what's the default here? This is a vector. Okay, so if that's the case, I think we can still get there. Let's go apply and save, and let's go back to our Niagara system. And then let's reset this. We don't need these multipliers. Well, this is our slash edge. Inside of here, these are vectors, compile and save. Let's go our smear edge. Same thing. We're gonna kill this. This should be -1. Compile, apply, and save. Okay. And then up here, we've got our effect. Great. And then in here, in our orientation, we can go back to default. And back to default. And back to default. Okay, cool. Now, that orientation, we're going to feed it into this guy here instead. So let's take this and put this in our orientation offset, which is this rotation. This one. One more to go. Oh, I missed the grab. Okay, compile and save, and then go back. And let's go 45 degrees. We said was 110. Compile that, read that, right, and play. There we go. Nice. Okay. Oh no. Okay. Cool. So we have a slash. The slash is slow, and the smear is not oriented correctly. but we are now able to offset that. So now I can create multiples of different orientations, or I could randomize this. So hold on, let's see what's going on with our smear real quick. -1110, simulation oriented. That should look good. And this guy is our smear. That's interesting. I'm not sure why the smear is not. The smear is still flat in the world. Something's different about our smear. Oh. Okay, I think I know what it is. I think it's because the smear is different. No, it's not different. It's the same. I'm not sure why that is, but we will figure that out. Future us will figure that out. Let's get a let's do a random float in range for example, random float in range. Let's do this 3 times. And let's go 0 to 1 to wrap this up, and we'll call today a day. And let's make a vector. 2, 3. And then every time I click this smear should be oriented differently. I'm not saying it's gonna look good. I'm just saying it should be different. Yeah, see? So the idea is, what I was hoping to be able to do was each attack would be like slash one way, slash the next way, slash the next way. Now obviously we would have to limit the ranges and make it so that it's oriented so that it's in front and it feels more like the character is attacking in front. So we could like take this, if we took this and we took just for kicks, we get the actor location, we can get the actor orientation. God, I love this kind of stuff, man. We can never end on time, right? Get the actor rotation. Okay, and then from that, let's get forward vector. Okay, and we're going to take that vector, we're going to multiply it by, let's say, a float to float, and let's say 50. Yeah, let's go 100. Let's go 100. Okay, this is going to position this. Once we add, by the way, we do need to add. We need to add our original location. If we add the, oh no. Okay, good. We're going to add this to here. So we're going to take our actor location and then we're going to add a little bit to it based on their facing, and this is going to position the effect in front of the character. Or it's not. Oh, it's going the wrong way. Okay, so we need to do this. We need to not get the forward vector. Let's get the right vector. Maybe it's the right vector. There we go. Pew, 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 pew. Everything in front of me must die. It's kind of what that is going to be. Now, probably that's too far. Because my plan is to animate like the character swiping, for example. So that's probably a little far. Not 3 though. Let's go try 50. Let's go half that distance. So when the character animates to swipe forward, it'll be like in front. And hopefully it'll look cool. What do you guys think?
I like it.
It's good.
I think the only other thing that's worth mentioning before we wrap up is right now we're spawning this system at a location, which causes this problem where if I'm in the middle of a fast run, you can see it leaves it behind me. We probably want to spawn this attached to the character. Right? Because otherwise it just doesn't look like we're attacking the right place. We should be able to do that fairly straightforward. Famous last words. Spawn system attached. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take that plug that in instead. Skip the previous one. Use that as the location. The system we're going to spawn is the slash. Okay. Attach point, none. That's fine. That means it should attach it to the root. And we got nothing. Oh, it's because it's using an offset. So let's go. I'm guessing it's putting it at its feet. Interesting. Maybe we do have to use a component. Get root component. Okay, it's way up there. Oh, that's kind of cool looking. It's way up there. I don't know. Let's just do this. Okay. The problem is we're attaching to the root. Snap to target. Keep world scale. Is my oh. What is this actor? I'm wondering if like what's happening is it's attaching it to the controller and not the pawn.
Oh. Yep.
And if that's the case, if we get can I get a pawn or anything? Get the player pawn? I don't really like that.
What is this in? What is this function in?
This is in a gameplay queue notify.
Oh.
Instigator? Get instigator actor?
Sure. Yes, probably.
Do we think? I'm curious what that is. We may have to check to see. Here we go. Press the space bar. Alright, instigator actor is unknown. Okay, so that's not going to work. So let's get this target. Let's cast this to... This is not the right way, but we're just going to make it work. We're going to cast this to... I want to know what this is. Let's just stop and see what this is real quick. This thing is... Oh, it's a 2D hero pawn. Keep relative offset. We're going to spawn this at the actor location.
Oh, it's... I think if you're attached to the actor, then the location you passed in is relative to the actor. So if you break the pin on location...
Well, if that's the case, then I should just be able to do... There we go. I should just be able to keep world.
Yeah.
Okay. But we still have a problem, though. Snap to target, keep world scale. The problem is that our effect might be in world space.
Break that location pin.
Break this.
Sorry, I just mean detach it from the spawn.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Oh, still lagging behind. Okay.
Yeah, but this could be two different things, right? The effect, because it looks like it's lagging, but look, it is actually following. I think.
Oh yeah, maybe.
So it could be that the Niagara system is set up to play in world space. Like it's not attached to the system. So I'll have to go back and see. So, look, overall, the idea of this was to kind of refresh my brain on how this works, because the very next thing that we're doing is we're going to be jumping into I'm going to be jumping into the game combat stuff. And for combat, I need melee attacks. For melee attacks, I need at least some visual. That's why this is all leading stuff. The idea being that I need the ability to show that you've done a melee attack. I need to separate that out from the there's going to be a bunch of things we're doing. So we've got the melee attacks, we've got the range attacks. We're going to have to change our inputs so we have both melee and range. We're also going to be setting it up so that we're going to be setting up the melee damage, and then also like the combo attacks, right? Like left to left, like the speed, hitting those reload windows, or whatever we want to call them, hot reload windows, to see how that works for combat as opposed to your more traditional AB type thing. So that's why we're getting all this set up. I just figured this would be more interesting to watch than watch me try to troubleshoot what is going on with packaging for the game right now. Overall updates, I have been like we're talking like 3 hours of sleep a night type thing, trying to crank stuff done. I'm so close. We have literally, I just need a test controller and figure out one thing with the flow graphs aren't playing in packaged builds. They work fine in editor, but not in packaged builds. If I can get those two things fixed, we should have another devlog update coming. So that's the update. Do you, Rusty or Neroda, do either of you have a thing for the stream before I end the stream, and then I'll come back and we can hang out?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, cool. Everybody else watching this after the fact, Patreon members, etc., thank you again. Anybody's watching this, as always, throw your comments, feedback, etc. down below. Follow the devlogs. I will see you all on the next one. Take it easy.